Well, hello. My name is Chang Lim. I am the CEO of the Australian Childcare Alliance New South Wales. And welcome to our one-on-one. Today we will be posing questions from ACA New South Wales, the Centre for Independent Studies, and Women's Agenda to the New South Wales Minister for Early Childhood Education, the Hon Sarah Mitchell MLC. Since 2012, all Australian states and territories have implemented the then new National Quality Standards and the National Quality Framework for all early childhood education and care service providers. While we are all proud of the world-class, high-quality early childhood education and care service that are provided to over 1 million children, 440,000 in New South Wales alone, there is a view that although we do not want to sacrifice quality, the cost of service delivery has become quite challenging for providers and ultimately for parents. Going forward, how do you see the New South Wales Government improving on the cost of living pressures for young parents with children aged 0 to 5 years old, while maintaining the quality of early childhood education and care our children enjoy today?
One of the things that's raised with me most as Minister has to be quality. Parents obviously want and expect high quality services for their children, and so does the sector. And I think the support for the NQF is something that is overwhelming that services tell me when I visit. And I think we've come a long way in terms of quality, and that's something in New South Wales we should be proud of. For us as a government, we are doing our bit to particularly help those services that need to improve their quality rating with our Working Towards program. And largely that's helping about 300 services, including long daycare and family daycare, to improve their quality rating, which I think is really important. In terms of getting that balance right between quality and cost of living for families, I think there's a range of measures that we're already working on that can help improve that. Firstly, the amount of money that we've put in through our Start Strong program, what we've seen for community preschools, which is the part of the sector that rely on funding from state government as they don't get any federal support. What we've seen with Start Strong is an average decrease of daily fees across the state by 25%. And what that means is real money going back into the pockets of mums and dads around the state, which is exactly what we want to see. When it comes to other parts of the sector, such as long daycare and family daycare, we know that it's about $2.5 billion a year that comes from federal subsidies to families to help with the cost of living. These are the measures that are in place to give parents that support no matter which service type they use, and I think that's really important. Going forward, we want to make sure that we have long-term certainty for the sector, and that's something I've been really strong on during my time as Minister. We know that the sector wants certainty in funding. We've been pushing very hard with our federal colleagues to say that we would like to have longer-term national partnership arrangements negotiated, and that's something that we will continue to take to the table should we be re-elected. I'd also add that the opportunity for services to give some feedback in terms of the regulations is underway with the review of the NQF that New South Wales is leading. So if there are services of any type in the sector that have strong views about the regulations, improvements to the NQF that could help reduce red tape and improve the way that they run as a service, they should be putting those forward. There'll be opportunities for feedback from the sector throughout that process, and that's a really good opportunity to have your say about ways you think that quality and the NQF regulations could be improved. I'd also note that Labor have made commitments in this space, but when you look closely at the detail of their policy, they're reliant on a hypothetical federal Labor government being elected. And I think instead of making promises on promises, there's actually a responsibility for them to tell the services and the sector what they will do as a standalone government. Should the federal Labor government not be elected, should they not be able to bring these savings measures in as part of their overall package? I think it's a legitimate question for stakeholders to ask. What will state Labor deliver if they're governing in their own right?
Minister, New South Wales 4-year-old children in long daycare seem to not be as well funded by governments as compared to those in other states. And with the current call nationally for 3-year-old children to be funded to achieve a minimum of 600 hours per year, like 4-year-old children, do you think this is something the next New South Wales Government and New South Wales Parliament ought to look into? And how do you think the New South Wales Government and New South Wales Parliament can improve New South Wales' participation rate for the year before school from currently being the lowest in the country?
When it comes to participation rates, the facts speak for themselves. Under the previous Labor government in the year before school, participation rates were 56%, but under our government it's risen to just over 83%. So clearly participation is very important to us, and we will continue to work to improve those numbers. And there's other figures that reflect the increase in participation. In 2017, 93% of children in New South Wales were enrolled in a preschool program for 15 hours a week. That's up 8% from 2016. It's a remarkable achievement, and it represents the single biggest rise out of any state or territory in the country. And under Start Strong for our community preschools, since the introduction of that program, we've seen participation rates rise by over 40%. So there are great things happening, and there's more to do. I'm really proud of the funding that we've put into early childhood education since we've been in government, and I think the figures speak for themselves. We are delivering more and more every year for the sector, which is incredibly important. And you only have to look at a comparison between us and the Labor Party. Last year's budget was just over $474 million for early childhood education in New South Wales. That's double what Labor spent on early childhood education in their last year in government. So I think the figures speak for themselves. We are making the investments for families and for children across New South Wales, and that's something that we will continue to deliver.
Minister, given the New South Wales childcare services do not attract GST or land taxes because they are recognised as educational facilities, why do some New South Wales childcare services pay New South Wales payroll tax, while some other New South Wales childcare services are exempt from paying New South Wales payroll taxes? And what do you think the New South Wales government and New South Wales Parliament should do about payroll taxes in relation to childcare service providers? And how could they help with childcare affordability? Could this money be redirected to support the additional staffing requirements like degree qualified early childhood teachers for service providers in New South Wales?
The Liberals and Nationals have already made commitments around payroll tax. We're going to take the current payroll tax threshold from $750,000 up to $1 million. And we know that that will provide tax relief for businesses right across New South Wales, including those operating in the early childhood sector. Providing support for the early childhood workforce is also incredibly important. We've already announced that we're going to be introducing 70,000 free traineeships across the state, including for people who are studying a Certificate 3 or a diploma in early childhood education at TAFE. We've also provided $4.5 million in scholarship opportunities for people working in the early childhood sector, including for those who are wanting to upskill from a diploma qualification to a degree. And we will continue to invest in the workforce in early childhood education.
Minister, our next question is from the Centre for Independent Studies. What should be done about the growing regulatory burden on childcare services, especially the disproportionate impact on small services, as reported by CEQA?
When it comes to regulations in the early childhood space, I have to say overwhelmingly how much support there is for the NQF, and also to make sure that we have those policies in place. But having said that, there's also now an opportunity with the NQF review, which is underway, which is being led by us in New South Wales, to see what improvements could be made in this space. So I would encourage anyone in the sector who has a view on the NQF and ways that we could improve the regulations for them should absolutely be a part of that process. There will be opportunities for services to have their say, and I would encourage them to do so.
Minister, we know parents have different priorities when it comes to childcare. Some are happy to pay a premium for a service that offers more individualized care and greater focus on early learning, but other parents simply want safe, affordable care that allows them to work. How can we ensure parents have choice?
Okay, I think the best way to ensure that we have quality and choice is to make sure that between state funding and federal funding, there is support available for all of the service types that parents want, whether it's long day care, family daycare, community preschools, mobile preschools, before and after school care. We need to work together to ensure that the sector is properly funded and looked after so that they can deliver these services for families, and that parents can choose what best suits them no matter where they live in New South Wales. And we're pursuing affordability in New South Wales through record investments. In New South Wales, we doubled in last year's budget what Labor spent in their last year in government. We're continuing to push with the federal government to have longer term funding deals that get a better deal for our sector and our services in New South Wales. And that's something that we will continue to work towards to get the best outcome for our children and families.
Minister, the next question is from Women's Agenda. Is the provision of universal high-quality childcare an option you would ever consider? And please give reasons.
I'm really proud of what we've been able to deliver in early childhood education since we've been in government, and particularly through our Start Strong reform for community preschools. What we've seen through Start Strong is fees on average decrease by 25% per day for children in the year before school. We've seen participation rates increase by 40%. And we've also put millions of dollars into capital to make more places available for families where they need them right across New South Wales. We've further improved our subsidies, now providing support for children, all children, for 2 years before school at community preschools. This is something that we will continue to deliver on. We'll also work with the federal government to make sure that we get the best funding deals for children and families in New South Wales to make early childhood education as accessible and affordable as possible.
Minister, how can we reconcile two competing financial pressures associated with childcare? On the one hand, the cost parents pay for care has increased significantly in recent years, but that has not resulted in a corresponding increase in the wages educators and carers receive. Sorry, let's try that again. Minister, how can we reconcile two competing financial pressures associated with childcare? On the one hand, the cost parents pay for care has increased significantly in recent years, but that has not resulted in a corresponding increase in wages educators and carers receive.
The rate of pay for early childhood educators is certainly something that is raised with me as I visit different service types around New South Wales. As the sector knows, the minimum wages are set at a federal level through the Fair Work Commission, so that's where change needs to happen to see increases across the board. However, I will say I'm encouraged when I visit services and have directors proudly tell me that they do pay their staff above the award wage, and that's something that's really pleasing to hear.
Thank you, Minister, for all your answers, and we wish you every success in the upcoming election. And viewers, please check out all the other videos from all the other parties that are contesting for the New South Wales State Election on the 23rd of March 2019. Thank you.